and welcome to another episode of the Adam Jones Podcast, brought to you by TheBaltimoreBanner.com. Of course, subscribe at TheBaltimoreBanner.com. I'm Jerry Coleman. He's, of course, the five-time former MLB All-Star Adam Jones. And today, in lucky episode number 7, AJ, we'll be joined by professional soccer star Jessica McDonald, a former U.S. World Cup champ in her own right, now playing down under in Australia. We'll talk about the mega event that is the World Cup, and you can see I'm representing the U.S. Speaking of soccer, it's about time Adam and I debate the impact of soccer here in the USA. We have some very strong opinions just ahead on that subject. There will also be a rant about eating with animals. No, not your kids. We're talking about real animals. Adam will vent on that. The Ravens are barely staying atop the AFC North with these fourth quarter meltdowns piling up. We'll dive into the purple and black and their now deleted tweet from their quarterback, Lamar Jackson. We'll have a lot to say on that as well. In addition, we'll spotlight our Baltimore Banner Varsity Sports Network Athlete of the Week. As always, we're brought to you by our friends over at Jack Daniels. There are lots of ways to make whiskey. There's only one way to make Jack Daniels. Make it count. Jack Daniels, please drink responsibly. And by Be More Around Town, BeMoreAroundTown.com. They've got the ultimate all-inclusive pregame purple tailgate experience before every home and away game. Head to BeMoreAroundTown.com. We'll have more details on trips later in the podcast. Also, the good folks at the Weinman Group and by G-Leaf, Medical Cannabis Company. Visit GLeaf.com. Medical cannabis is only for qualified Maryland patients. And a reminder, if you're enjoying this podcast as much as we are doing it, make sure to check out the Baltimore Banner. They're covering the Ravens, the Terps, the Orioles, the whole local region in terms of Baltimore, and they've got you covered for special listeners like you out there, either watching on YouTube or listening via Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget BaltimoreBanner.com, and the important part is /AJ. All right, we bring in right now. Let's begin with our special guest. We're heading long distance down under to Australia, mate, and we speak with Jessica McDonald.
Jess McDonald does it again! McDonald scores!
The journeywoman Jessica McDonald! Oh my!
Jess McDonald worked, certainly headed that one down.
Into the box, McDonald going the end down, and there we go.
Hi, thank you for that intro. I did not expect that at all. Gerald. I saw Jones call you Gerald, so I was literally on the other side. Literally
You can call me Jerry. It's okay.
I'm just joking.
How are you doing?
But thank you so much for that intro. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me, you guys.
What did you think of the game against Iran, like I was saying? Because obviously they pulled it out. As I was saying, there were political implications. The two countries don't exactly see eye to eye, so that added to it. I know, but that's part of the picture over there. And the way the U.S. responded.
No, I thought it was an incredible win for the States, obviously, especially after Tyler Adams' interview yesterday with the Iranian reporter. So he had such a good response, and he also had a very good game. It was definitely a nail biter, first and foremost, because toward the end, Iran had more of the better chances, and I think with the lack of experience on our men's team, they could have held on to the game a little bit better and more of a professional level, but they got the 3 points, they got the win, so they're moving on to Sweet 16. So hoping and praying, they learn from this game and hopefully win the next.
Awesome. Jessica, great to see you as always. Explain to me what happens next. Obviously the first stage is done, but explain to me, the process of what happens next.
This is where things kind of change. Like, people don't understand the pressure that you have representing your country literally on the world stage. It's just a whole different vibe. And so to move out of group stage, obviously that's a huge deal breaker for the U.S. men's national team because they haven't been that successful in the World Cup. So now they put their helmet on for impact, and hopefully the head coach kind of makes the right decisions with the starting lineup, see who the strongest squad is, and hoping and praying that Christian Pulisic will be healthy enough to play in the next round. And because he's been probably the most consistent player between him and Tyler Adams this whole tournament. And so between those two, we need for them to be on their front foot coming into this next game. No pressure whatsoever, but I think that once they come together as a collective, there's no doubt in my mind that, they could come out successful.
Awesome. We've been going back and forth about, the popularity of, I'm starting to call it football now. I'm living in Barcelona. The popularity of it. Do you think that
we're going to debate it coming up?
Cup,
yes.
We are. But do you think that this World Cup is, putting football, soccer on the map even more for America? Obviously, you know all the countries that are participants in the sport on a massive level by playing against everybody. But do you think this is like the coming out party for USA? Like, okay, hey, look it, we ain't been here in a minute, like you said, but we're here. We're here now.
Yeah, especially coming off of today's win. I truly believe that, if they lost today, it would be very disappointing, something that, most of the world would totally expect from the U.S. men's national team. But the fact that they came out with the win today, it's definitely going to continue to put football on the map in the United States, especially with, you guys were arguing earlier, with big players who have come to the MLS after they're done playing, on their pro teams from overseas. So with the likes of like Messi, it's going to bring in more of an audience into the States. And so we continue to bring those players into the MLS. It's going to continue to grow, but definitely after this win, making it to Sweet 16, it's definitely going to continue to put football on the map in the United States specifically.
How many different teams have you played for throughout your career? You're in Australia right now. I think it's like double digits in terms of teams in different countries you've been to. Does Baltimore count as not one of the teams you played for, but one of the places you've ever visited? I should ask you that, since this is a Baltimore-based podcast.
Baltimore, not so much. The Washington Spirit are based where the DC United players play.
I think it's RFK. It used to be RFK.
Yeah, RFK.
Yep.
Yeah, RFK Stadium. And
not the best.
No, not
area.
necessarily. Yeah, not necessarily Baltimore. It's a little scary on the outskirts of the stadium. But I'm officially on my 10th team in my 11th team, but in my whole pro career, my first 5 years in NWSL, which is our league in the United States, I was traded to 6 different teams my first 5 years. So that definitely kind of sealed the deal for me. Yeah, that was fun. Very, very much so. But yeah, 11 teams officially.
Jessica,
what's the difference internationally?
Go ahead, Adam.
Yeah, I'm saying, what's the difference internationally? Obviously, playing collegiate ball, you get a lot of international players, and then you get, you play in the professional in America, but playing professional in international. How is that playing in a completely different country? I did it. It's completely mind blowing to me. But how is that, for you? Especially, again, your mother raising kids, and, it's completely different dynamics. It's easy being a father. It's completely different being a mother doing it.
Yeah, it's way tougher for the women who are moms as professional athletes, I think, in any career. But it's definitely different anywhere you play. So from the United States, we depend a lot on our athleticism, whereas here in Australia, the pace of the game is a little bit slower. You take your time on the build going to goal. So there's literally different style of play everywhere you go. So if you look at the EPL, for example, it's way different than La Liga, different styles of, like, in the MLS especially. So each country has their different style of play, really each continent. I should be a bit more specific. And so it's definitely a really cool experience playing elsewhere, because it helps you with your game in a different kind of way, especially for me now that I'm getting older. I'm going to be 35 soon. And so I had to adjust my game somehow, and learning elsewhere besides, in my home country, it's going to do nothing but expand my soccer intelligence. And so being more patient on the ball, for example, here while playing down under, whereas, playing in Europe, it's a little bit quicker. Their speed of play is a little bit quicker. Their possession's really good in the midfield, and they're able to just build really quickly. And then the United States, we just kind of just go. But here it's slower paced. And so being able to adjust in different countries, or even playing internationally as well, and playing against other countries, you have to adjust to the way that they play, and also try and apply your own strengths. And so it's been an awesome experience just playing all over the place, and being able to expand, like I said, my soccer intelligence, and just adding a little bit more to my game.
Well, we talked about pressure, and then there's World Cup pressure, and you've been through it. We talked about at the beginning the fact that you won a World Cup for the USA back in 2019. The pressure that the men are facing, I guess you can relate to that, obviously, through your experience. Can you explain to the audience what's that like when you're representing an entire country as opposed to maybe just a town?
It's a lot. It's honestly a lot of pressure. And one thing that our leaders had kind of shown us who were there for the first time, it's like, okay, let's stay off social media a little bit more because there's going to be criticism. You know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of negativity. There's going to be literally the world against you, no matter where you're from. Let's say, Argentina is going to play next. The whole world is against Argentina except for Argentina. Obviously, we want Messi specifically to succeed, but you understand where I'm coming from. Like, everyone's against you. Whereas you're collective as a team, you have this goal and you're together. And that's all that you have. And so we kind of stuck with this slogan, like USA beat everybody. And that's literally how it felt, because we came in as, not so much the favorites. People favored France going into the tournament in 2019. And we were like, we use that as fuel. And so hopefully with the U.S. men's national team going into Sweet 16, they can use all the negativity. They can use any and everything that they possibly can, especially with the pressure that they have on their backs right now, use that as fuel. And hopefully that'll put them on their front foot, because the pressure at the World Cup is just, it's totally different than anyone could possibly imagine unless you're actually in it. And so it's a little nerve wracking, but it's also, a positive thing as well, because it'll show you how actually the level of professionalism that any team really has at the world stage. And so hopefully, they have a good psychologist on board, which is something that we had. And so hopefully, they come together as a collective, as a team off the field, especially camaraderie in the locker room is very important as well. And so hopefully there's just team chats without staff being in the locker room. It's like, okay, boys, what are we going to do next? Like, what did we do wrong today? What can we fix? Without coaches actually being in there, because that's something that helped us in the tournament in 2019 in the World Cup. So it's a lot of pressure, different type of pressure than anyone could possibly imagine. But, hopefully they come together as a collective, like I said, and be successful in the Sweet 16.
To that, you said that, obviously coming collective as a group, obviously, having everybody in the clubhouse without the coaches, you're the players, you're on the field, you know what's going on. Are there any, I should say, like outside influences, but in the good way, like, for the women, obviously you got Mia Hamm and, Judy Fowley. I mean, the name Fowley, the list goes on. And on the men's side, you have tons of guys that's on set right now with Donovan and Alexi Lawless, and I'm sure countless other American stars that have played in this type of stage. Do you think that, there's such, some of their, I guess, influence there, some of their, be all, I mean, like, since they've been there before type of influence around? Have you guys had that? Did you guys have that in 19 where, instead of the coaches, just other people just around that are influencers?
Yeah. So
hard to question that.
Yeah. So one really unique thing that we were able to do, we had some really good conversations actually with the 99ers. So with, Mia Hamm, Julie Fowley, Joy Fawcett, Brandy Chastain, we had them all. And so we had this whole weekend actually with them, which was actually really cool and very inspiring because they paved the way. Same with Lexi Lawless, Landon Donovan, all those guys actually being there. So I'm pretty sure they've had some chats with them because they've been there, they've done that, they have the experience. And so I'm pretty sure these are men that our U.S. men's national team now have actually looked up to. And so some of them probably weren't even born when Lexi Lawless was playing, but
True.
It's still very inspiring knowing that he represented the crest, over his heart. And so I'm sure with their presence being there, I'm pretty sure, they've come together, and I'm pretty sure they've sat and had some chats. They had to, if they're there. And so why not use that? Because that's probably one of the most inspiring things for a footballer. Your dream is coming true. You're at the World Cup. And what better way to be there than with your idols or who have actually been there and represented your country as well. And so I think that's just a really cool learning experience for all the young fellows that are on the men's national team. So they definitely have some idols there that I'm pretty sure they're looking up to.
Jessica, as far as the U.S., and this team, and, in the past, there's been these debates about equal pay for the women, which is a rightful debate. It seems like things are sort of heading in the right direction. But then I hear about the Saudi team winning a game and everyone gets a Rolls Royce. I don't know. I don't know how you feel about that.
That's different. That's way different.
I mean, that's next level stuff.
That's different.
Yeah, that would have been kind of nice to receive a Rolls Royce, but that's not what we're there for. We're here to fight for equal pay and equity for all the little girls who want to be in our shoes one day. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't about us. It's about our future generation who deserves that, because we have proven ourselves. We've succeeded. That's awesome that Saudi Arabia all got a Rolls Royce, but that's not our country, and that's just how they handle things. But whereas the United States, this was our focus. And so for the little girls who want to be in our shoes one day, we don't want them to have to fight the fight that we had to go through. From the Mia Hamms and Julie Foudy's, they're sewing on their own numbers on their jerseys and literally passing out tickets on the streets to people just to come to games. Whereas, they paved the way for us in order for us to get to where we are. So we're going to continue the fight because that's where it started. And so we need to continue this fight. And so it's been an awesome fight, a huge learning experience. And honestly, it's worth every minute, because, it's going to be very important for, all your daughters and, and little girls who want to be in our shoes, who want to succeed at whatever it is that they want to do. It's not even just football. We came together with a lot of different other companies. And so from actresses to business owners, CEOs, you name it, we met with all these females who were just absolutely incredible, and just hearing their stories as well. It was the same as ours. And so this isn't even just a football fight for us for equity and equal pay. This is a global thing, but obviously our focus was for the U.S. women's national team. And so, which is very much so deserved, because, we've succeeded. We've done it all, from Olympics to World Cups. And so why not now? So it needs to start now. And so it's really just for our future generation to make sure they're set up really nicely.
I love it. Love how you guys are using your voices. Collectively, you guys are powerful. Obviously, everybody listens, and even when you think people don't listen, they're listening. And we're here in the fight with you. And I just love how you're on the forefront of it, because as you should, you want to see. There's little girls that's looking up to you right now, saying, "I want to be her. I want to be her. I want to be her," and all over the world. And that's very inspiring, especially as an athlete, when, someone meets you and like, "I love watching you. I got your poster up," and like all those small little things that, we'd be like, "Oh yeah, whatever." It goes a lot further than you realize. So continue to fight. We're here for you for the fight.
Absolutely. It's definitely a historical movement. We actually didn't realize how big of a scene this was going to cause, especially at the World Cup, because we had filed our lawsuit a few months before the World Cup. And so we kind of swept it under the rug going into the World Cup, because we didn't want that to be our focus, because, okay, we filed this lawsuit. Now we have to win. So we wanted to win, and then obviously continue to prove ourselves. And then, we were able to focus on the lawsuit again. But we never thought it was going to be a global movement. And it started in France, where, we're not even in our own country. We had stadiums packed with people, 60,000 plus people, 60 to like 90,000 people in these stadiums, literally screaming equal pay. And we're just sitting there like, holy crap, this is cool. So it ended up being a global movement everywhere. And so it was just amazing for all of us as a collective to be able to use our platforms and use our voices. It was nerve-wracking. We didn't know what was going to happen. We took that risk. And so it's just awesome that we've been able to inspire not just the little girls, but also other women all over the world who have other careers as well. Not even just the football movement, but this was literally global, which it's mind-blowing, and I get so excited about it. But definitely a historical movement, and honestly, we're moving in the right direction. So I'm really, really proud of that.
Well, Jessica, before we go, I don't know if Adam has any further questions, but I do want to end with a typical American stereotypical question, and that is, being in Australia, are kangaroos as prevalent as, I don't know, squirrels here in America? Like, do you see them on every street corner? And are they as friendly as they look? Because squirrels certainly aren't friendly.
Right, an
Yeah,
idiot.
the kangaroos I've ran into are pretty friendly, but no, they're not running around like squirrels. You don't see them, right outside your window, walking down the street or anything. But they're more so open fields, more so in the country and farms and things like that. But you definitely see, there's a herd of them, in the middle of nowhere. So yeah, they're pretty free, but not within the cities or the suburbs or anything like that.
Everything I learned was via National Geographic. So what can I tell
Oh, good. Here we go. That video of that guy punching the kangaroo with the dog. I want somebody to punch Jerry. I want a kangaroo to punch Jerry like that.
Oh,
If Chip has that me pieing him, I don't know if you've seen me pieing Jerry. We did this as a promo. It was just some things a couple weeks back, and I pied Jerry, and he
felt
wants
like
to
a kangaroo coming at me.
It felt like
awesome.
kangaroo. I mean, it's in different sizes of me to Jerry, and he needs to be taught a lesson here and there. But no, it's just great to have you. Especially getting your perspective. You offer a complete unique perspective. I'm watching the game with excitement. Got no idea what's going on. Just like millions of people, millions of Americans who want to be like, oh, I love soccer right now. Yeah. You never been in, people don't even know DC United in Baltimore. They got a damn team. So spare me that. I get it. It's, popularity right now, but I think it's really growing. I really do, especially with the global game. I think really with Mbappe being of color. I know he's French for being of color. One of my good friends' sons plays, and he says, I love Mbappe because he looks like me. Like that's powerful. So when he said that, I'm just like, do you want to go to Paris tomorrow and go watch him play? Like I want him to have him around him. You know what I mean? And Mbappe probably doesn't understand what he's doing in America. He probably understands, obviously growing his brand right now, but he has such a big impact that Ronaldo, that Beckham, that Messi don't have, and they can't have because they don't speak to people of color in a certain way that an Mbappe can, a Pogba can. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, absolutely. And it's really a precious thing to see when, a person of color is being looked up to nowadays. And so it's just been a really beautiful game that's been growing with diversity. And so that absolutely is amazing to me. Like my son, he's a swimmer. And so for him to even just see just like one other Black swimmer, he's just like, oh, this is amazing. I'm like, oh, this makes me so happy, that he's able to see people of color doing what he does. So that just inspires him a little bit more, something that not a lot of people understand or know the impact that they truly have. So that's really awesome of your friend's son to obviously look up to Mbappe just in that kind of way, because it's really amazing, and it's really important for the little boys and little girls out there to see people who look like them, because it's like, okay, well, he's doing it, well, so the heck can I, and that just gives you a little extra fuel as a child. So that's really awesome.
100%.
Jessica, really grateful for you taking the time. Before we let you go, a prediction on who's going to win this World Cup? Any thoughts on that going forward?
Oh, you're putting me under pressure like
yeah,
that.
I know.
Okay.
Go Final Four if you don't.
You can just say go US and we can get you out of here. It's up to you.
Yeah, I have to say USA. I'm just gonna leave it at that because I'm on camera. So go USA.
But okay, right. But who would you think could be in the Final Four? I think I could. There's a good chance I could be at the semifinals. Who do you think could be in the Final Four?
Okay, so Brazil, Argentina, USA, and France.
That's a good Final Four.
Yeah. I don't know what the bracket looks like, so I don't know if it's
there's no brackets, right? Because Spain's been playing some.
Killing it. I know.
But
you have to throw USA in there. So
100%. You got to throw it. 100%.
All right, Jessica, we really appreciate your time. We know it's a different time where you are halfway across the world, but very grateful for you being a part of the Adam Jones podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
Jessica.
Yeah, nice seeing you again. Yeah.
You too.
All the best. Thank you. Well, let's continue the soccer talk, shall we, Adam, and bring in the honorable
100%.
judge himself, Reginald Fugit. and talk about the impact of soccer in America and how it's coming along. It's something we want to talk about. Reg, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Welcome
How
back.
was your Thanksgiving, brother-in-law?
Hey, ate too much, but that's just the American way. Less about me, though, more about soccer, since this is a special soccer edition
Football.
to the
Football.
I'm going to call
Football.
it. I'm going to call it soccer.
That's
So anyway,
disrespectful.
for some context, based on a Gallup sports poll, the report asserts that as of 2019, 52% more adults consider themselves a soccer fan compared to 2012. This growth outpaces the other four major American sports. So for this debate, again, my name is Reginald Fugit, and I am the judge. We will be debating, will this popularity continue to grow, or has it hit its ceiling? And again, since this is the World Cup, is this just what we're talking about during the World Cup, and we're going to wait another 4 years for this? Anyway, Jerry, you get the first word as the habitual loser, and the floor is yours.
We're going to be looking for another judge after this. Listen, the numbers show that pickleball is actually the fastest growing sport in this country. Not that I care for pickleball. I've tried it. I prefer tennis. But this narrative I've been hearing about soccer and the growth of it and the impact of it in this country, I've been hearing since I was in high school. And where's the evidence is what I'm asking? Or is this simply a byproduct of the World Cup coming up once every 4 years? And I think that's where the impact is. I think a lot of people come and watch the TV like we did against the game against Iran. And that's why I'm supporting the U.S., obviously on the bandwagon like a lot of people. But I also know in 32 years of doing sports talk radio, I never took a call about soccer. And yeah, we talk about soccer from time to time, but it doesn't possess, let's say, the attractiveness of the NFL or NBA or Major League Baseball in this country. So that's where I feel it is right now. And I'm just wondering if after the World Cup is over, this will be a carryover effect, because I haven't seen it in past World Cups. You know, we got the Major League Soccer, we got the women's leagues, but do they garner the attention of these other leagues? I think not.
All right, Adam, what do you got?
All right, well, you get a couple good points, but, you got to understand, most of these people don't even know who Chris Paul is over in a lot of these countries. They don't know who some of these guys are. These guys are football fans, soccer. But this game is way bigger than you can think, than you can imagine besides the four major sports. Obviously, basketball, I would say, is the biggest global sport in terms of the American sports. Football has its limits. Baseball, obviously, is America, Japan, Korea, Mexico, a few selective places. But if you look up, you can go on ESPN, the app, and just look up all the leagues that are for football, soccer, and it is every single country has its own league. It is growing. I think that it's growing. I think that the ceiling of it, I don't think that it's reached a ceiling because I don't think it's gotten the political side of it yet. I think a lot of these sports now, people are starting to adjust their views on certain sports because of how these athletes are what they call woke, aka understanding what the hell is going on around them. But I think that is continuously growing. I think this World Cup is obviously great so far. I think it's going to continuously grow, and it's a global game. You got a lot of youths playing it, and it's turning into one of these AAU games, just like everybody else. Basketball.
But I think it stops a lot. I think it stops a lot at the collegiate level. I would have to interrupt and say I think it stops a lot at the collegiate level. I know there's a professional league or two out there that we have talked about, but there's not enough scoring in that sport. That's what attracts America. That's why the 100%. NFL, that's why baseball, that's why the NBA have all altered their rules for more offense. I think that's important.
Right, but you got to understand. You always have to understand. Fans. There's 330 million versus what? We were about to approach 8 billion soon. Let's be honest with ourselves. Put the real numbers together. There's a lot more people that watch football, soccer, than they do the NFL. It's just the number. You want to talk about numbers? I mean, obviously you can go per capita or however you want to micromanage it, but it's the global game. Like Uruguay, I ain't heard of no player on that team, but the whole country's out there, and they have a whole like. They don't even know who we are in certain ways.
I would argue this.
All right, hold on. No, pause. We got to pause. I love that. I love where you're going with that. Again, this debate's brought to you by the Wyman Company. Going forward, Jerry, we will.
I ain't whining.
So we're going to stick to the impact in the USA. Adam, you brought a lot to the table talking about the global game, but will it stick in America? Will it grow so that the Americans can compete? Jerry, you're on the clock.
I would argue that basketball is fastly becoming the world sport. And again, more evidence. You look at the top players in the NBA, with all due respect, it's not Kevin Durant, LeBron James. It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's Nikola Jokic. It's Luka Doncic. All guys that are from outside the U.S. making waves in the Americas here. You look at what soccer does. It started with David Beckham. Messi's going to come over here and take this golden parachute, maybe playing a little bit of Major League Soccer. They come over here just for S and giggles. They don't come over here to play serious ball like they do in the NBA. So I think that's a big difference in terms of the impact of the sport and the way it's viewed here in this country.
Well, it's a flip. It's flipped. How, look at players right now, Dwight Howard, Al Harrington's. They there's tons of players right now that are in China, in Taiwan, that are playing basketball because, that if you still want to continue to play, you're getting up there in age, you're not as good as you used to be, you still want to play. Myself, taking my ass over there to Japan. Beckham coming to America, you got Gareth Bale coming to LA. You're going to have a lot of players that, Ronaldo, Messi. There's going to be a plethora of guys.
But at the end of their careers,
they're going to do. I get it, but they still have such a global impact. They're going to do nothing but attract players, attract people that want to come there. And again, I got friends that have kids that play soccer now. And, again, we all played soccer as little kids, just, that's something active to do. But no, they're playing club ball. They're traveling all over the East Coast and West Coast. It's getting serious. And I think that this World Cup, and then, again, how it's globalized and how the access of, the social medias and the technology where they're able to see PSG games, NBC and all these other places show so many more Premier League games that they're getting to be able to see these kids especially on a Saturday morning. You wake up at 7:00, you can watch Premier League.
We got European.
All right, here we go.
On, Judge.
Part of my job is to be impartial. It has nothing to do with my opinion. It's just based on what you guys give me. Okay. Adam stole it there at the end. I know he started off weak, and Jerry had it, but then the talk about the soccer becoming more serious is something that really hit home in the United States in the travel league. So anyway, great debate, you guys. Very, very relevant topic in today's time. So take care.
Yeah,
and
it's growing.
Over and out.
Yeah, this Jerry versus Jones debate sounds like a bad Dallas Cowboys.
No, but you got to understand, it's growing tremendously. Being over here, I find myself, obviously, it's on TV more. It's obviously accessible by their games are in the prime time. I'm not staying up at 1:00 in the morning to watch the NBA or anything because it's just way too late. So it's cool to be able to watch the 1:00 games on Sunday, get to watch the Ravens. But for the most part, I mean, over here, they watch football.
Well, these Ravens, Adam, it's a continuing theme, these fourth quarter meltdowns. I would equate it to kind of like losing in the bottom of the ninth. I don't know with 2 down, but losing in the bottom of the ninth had to have been heartbreaking for you, just like it has to be for the Ravens to fall apart there at the end, like they did in their most recent game, and they've done in many losses already.
Yeah, that was a tough one. And again, you're not going to beat them up. I mean, they're playing against somebody. Lawrence is pretty solid. But remember, we talked about it last week. Those are games that you go into the week, and I'm not saying that they slow down or anything like that, but it's just losses that happen that you go back and be like, I didn't need that, because again, that's going to put you tied with the Bengals, who started off slow but have been playing terrific. Multiple leads in the fourth quarter, and again they're having their meetings about it, and it's unfortunate. And that's like having you get up in the bottom of the seventh and you hit a 2-run single, you take yourself up, and then a setup man gives it up. You're like, damn. Then you get it back, and then the closer gives it up. You're like, damn. And then you end up getting walked off, and you're sitting out there in center field or whatever position you're sitting there. It's like, damn. But it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's part of it though. And rebound. And that's what I love about Harbaugh. Harbaugh preaches that. He preaches rebound. He's not going to dwell on it. We didn't. Hey, move on. It's on to the next week.
Well, you cannot rely on friend of the podcast, Justin Tucker, to win it with his foot alone. Lamar needs to be a lot more accurate. I mean, that field goal I thought was going in, but the lack of execution inside the red zone on both sides of the football is something that has to be rectified. And Denver's next, and I understand they don't look that great, and the schedule looks kind of cozy, but they still have very important divisional games with Pittsburgh twice, Cleveland, and they end the season at Cincinnati. So some critical games still ahead. I did want to address Lamar Jackson's tweet after the game. He tweeted back at some troll who has like 29 followers. It was unprofessional. I think we both agree on that. But I agree with what Coach Harbaugh said. These players should not be running to Twitter after a game, particularly a loss, AJ.
And really, it just beg guys not to get into the Twitter world right after the game, especially after a loss. It's never going to be positive. It's not going to be a nice place, And I think that's kind of reflected in Lamar's response, because what he said was just so out of character for him. That's not the way he speaks. It's not the way he talks. It's not the words he ever uses. I've never heard him say things like that before. But like you said, Bo, he wants to win. I'm sure he's frustrated, just like we all are. And that's just a place you just don't want to live.
Yeah, well, the social media factor, again, that's going to be part of this betting part. It's going to be part of it. And you never, as an athlete, celeb, whatever, someone with a lot of followers, I guess I didn't want to put you in that category, you'll never win. You never win. It's just a lose-lose situation no matter what. You can explain yourself to you black in the face, and you're just never going to win. So, at the end of the day, he's a grown man. He can do whatever he wants. But at being in the position he's in, you'll never win.
He should have deleted the tweet almost immediately. It took a while. And I don't know why you have to read your mentions, especially after a loss. Did you? I mean, Twitter was just up and coming when you were playing. I don't know how much you were.
Oh, come on, man. When you say, when do you think I came in? Like, my last year was like 2012?
Now, as you reach your 60s, we look back
There's a lot. Social media was obviously plentiful. You would go, I would probably wait till I get at home to get on social media, but it depends. It depends on when I was in Arizona, they did such a really good job of the social media aspect. So they added you a lot in a lot of tweets and a lot of different things that they were posting. So, you get a lot of alerts and you look at them and be like, oh, okay. And then if you wanted to go down the rabbit hole and look at comments and stuff like that, depending on the content, depending on the game you had, it might be a nice picture. Look at the early comments of, oh, that's great and all that. And then you struck out in the ninth, you bum. So, just sometimes you can go down the rabbit hole, but they always say never look at the comments, never look at them. And I like looking at them when they're on other people's stuff, because people are just morons when it comes to social media. They don't think that there's repercussions for just calling people obscene and just all these bad names and using obscene gestures. They don't think there's no repercussions like, oh, nobody's going to bother me. Nah, Fred, somebody's on your ass. So stop doing that.
And let's clarify, this was completely out of character for Lamar. He has been nothing
100%.
But a great guy to deal with on the field and off the field. When I saw it, I thought it was a fake tweet, to be honest.
It was hacked.
Yeah. I just feel bad for our friend Justin, because Tucker got tagged in that. And I don't know if that's ever happened to you with the Orioles. Or someone tweeted about a particular player and included you in that tweet. It's like, how did you drag me into this?
Oh, there's so many. I've had so many bad tweets that they just dragged me into it. And I'm just like, what? And there's a lot of it could be political in the United States. It could be political in different countries like that. I've just seen myself attached to it. I'm like, I'm unfollowing this person. I'm blocking this person because I don't believe it. I don't know what is going on here. And you can just get attached in it. And again, I don't know what the origin of the tweet of it. It could have been, like, hey, Tuck, great try at 67. Wish your quarterback gave you 2 more yards. And you know what I mean? It could have been something like that. And then they're like, oh, he's a bum. And then, it could have been just a bunch of riffraff that got back to Lamar's page. And, he probably just reacted because, again, 2 yards. I love Tucker. Tucker said, screw it, let me try it. And he really tried it. He took an extra step and oh man, I love Tuck. He really tried it. He thought it was, but 2 more yards it would have. And, somebody might have said something and I get it. Trust me, I get both sides of it. But I just know that And I've been a part of it too. I've argued with people on social media, and I said, no, you're never going to win. You can call the person, yeah, shut up, person, you're in your mom's basement. You're never going to win. At the end of the day, you're never going to win.
No, end of story. I totally concur.
Yeah.
Our For the Birds segment, by the way, presented by Be More Around Town. They have the ultimate all-inclusive pre-game purple tailgate experience. It's before every home and away game. You saw Coach Harbaugh come out of the tunnel and greet all those fans in Jacksonville. They were from Be More Around Town, a lot of them. And there's still space available for those road trips to Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. That may decide the season. Head to BeMoreAroundTown.com and join the party. Okay, keep it moving here on the Adam Jones podcast presented by the Baltimore Banner, thebaltimorebanner.com. Let's get it out of our collective system. Time for Adam Jones' weekly rant. It's called Heckle D's.
Look, again, this is a disclaimer, and it's brought to you by Jack. I haven't had none of this. It's a full bottle. But look, I love dogs. Again, this is another dog one. But not eating with them. Come on. Society. Come on. Dogs lick in your face. Do you know what dogs lick on a regular?
Yes.
Privates. Boo-boo. And then you just let them just lick your face. You nasty bastard. That's what you are.
So a little disclaimer here, because this is now 2 weeks running. I sense a theme of dogs, and you love dogs. I mean, you've had dogs in the past. You've been part of calendars and all that.
I have dogs.
That out. But last week you were talking about the fact that, dogs are leaving their you-know-what all over the streets where you walk and your kids walk, and now it's eating with the dogs, which I can relate to real quickly because I was at a place called the Salty Dog in Sarasota, and there were actually more dogs at the bar, more greyhounds, more German shepherds than there were human beings. So I got my food to go.
Well, that's different, though. You're in Sarasota, and it's a bar. I know Salty Dog. It's a little bit different. I was in Istanbul at a pretty nice restaurant where I had to wear a collared shirt. Okay, the Salty Dog, you have on clothes like you have on, some khaki shorts and some thong slippers. It's very simple. So, I'm not eating with dogs. This dog was barking. I looked at it. It was barking. And Istanbul has a problem with homeless dogs, which it's kind of sad. It's kind of cute in a way. They're not bothering. They're very nice dogs. But I've seen too many dogs at too many nice restaurants. I don't give a damn if they're in this little crate, in that little thing, and they took a Benadryl and they don't say nothing. I don't give a damn. I don't want to smell the little stinking little dog while I'm eating my food. I just don't. I think the dog is okay to stay at home. If it's an emotional support dog, you should emotionally cook your ass a dinner at home. Okay.
All right, that's the rant. As always, brought to you by our friends at Jack Daniels. Don't feed animals, Jack Daniels. It's for human beings. Jack Daniels has always made whiskey, and if they have it their way, they always will. But there's one thing Jack can't make more of, and that's moments. Those are on us to create, folks. So let's make sure we're making the most of every moment we have. Make it count with Jack Daniels, and please drink responsibly. But a reminder, if you guys are enjoying this podcast as much as we are doing it, make sure to check out the Baltimore Banner at thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ. If you hit that website, baltimorebanner.com/AJ, you get 6 months of the banner for just $1. It's a great deal. Unlimited digital access for just $1. Again, thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ. All right, let's salute our Baltimore Banner Varsity Sports Network Athlete of the Week. It's Devin Roche from Dunbar High School. Congratulations to Devin Roche. He led a bruising rushing attack for the number 4 Dunbar Poets, running for 154 yards and 3 scores. The Poets' 46-7 beatdown of Calvert High School in the 2A, 1A state championship, or state semifinals. Next up is a state championship. That was last Friday. All Roche did to punch his team's ticket into the state title game, which is this Saturday at Navy. He had a 54-yard touchdown run at the start of the third. He is a 2021 Varsity Sports Network Offensive Player of the Year in the Baltimore area. Did miss several games earlier this year due to a foot injury, but came back with a spark as he led Dunbar's quest for a 12th straight title when it faces Pawtuxet. That's coming up noon on Saturday again in Annapolis. The Poets are the only school to have won state titles in 4 different classifications, and there are 11 state titles, already a state record. So congrats to Devin Roche and Dunbar, Adam.
Oh, looking at it, you won the Player of the Year in 2021. You only missed a couple games because you got a foot injury. Devin, salute, brother. I mean, you just came back in time. You just resting yourself. And sir, how you wait? You're waiting for the good miles to put on your body for the best time. So you're just conditioning yourself. That's what I believe. And keep doing it. Keep going forward. Keep going forward. Congratulations. What a hell of a week. And congratulations and best of luck on the next game. Because again, it only gets tougher as it goes. It only gets tougher.
Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number.
All right, our final segment is titled Socially Speaking. This is where we answer a tweet or social media post. You can even email us. We have a new email. And if you do email us, you qualify for a piece of Adam Jones signed memorabilia. That's at adamjonespod@gmail.com. We do read negative tweets. We just didn't get any negative tweets this week. So we will take those as well at Adam Jones Pod on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
I mean, we appreciate all the love. I mean, a lot of people have responded to me on Twitter, Instagram, and just been very positive about how they like, our meshing. And, we go back and forth, and it's like our segment. So it's good that, people are again, we're trying to give people a unique perspective into Baltimore sports and our region. And, I hope people appreciate it. So far, so good. We just need to keep it going, and keep the people interested, keep people, and worrying like, oh, what are they going to talk about next? And what the best part about this is there's always something new. We can always talk about something new, and we might end up having a fan come on or something like that. That might be even cool to add somebody. You know what I mean? Just somebody random who would want to come on and offer something to, if it's something unique. Have a sports segment, a fan sports segment. What do you feel? What do you think? A lot of
see that dog. We're getting the wrap. I think the dog is giving us the wrap up signal. I think it's. Daniels, please drink responsibly. Be more around town. They have the ultimate all-inclusive pregame purple tailgate experience. Head to bemorearoundtown.com. Still spaces available for those trips. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Also, the good folks at the Weinman Group and G-Leaf Medical Cannabis Company. Visit gleaf.com. Medical cannabis for qualified Maryland patients only. And, of course, check us out at thebaltimorebanner.com. And remember their special 6 months unlimited digital access for just $1 by visiting thebaltimorebanner.com/AJ Adam. It's been a worldwide pleasure. Also, I got to give gratitude to our very senior producer, Chip Franklin. We're all back next week. Take care and be safe out there and be kind to one another.